Hello everyone, I'm just about to start doing the drums, starting off the song. I know I was gonna start earlier, but I've been having, family issues. My father's passed just a couple days ago, and I had family out and all that stuff. So it's been put off till now, and I really want to get to it because I don't want it to be like when my brother passed. And I think I was supposed to record a EP, which I never did, and I was supposed to write all of the last album, which I only wrote part of it, and the other part I filled with songs I already had. And so I'm gonna be getting right to it. I'm gonna be showing you weekly how far I've been getting, so to keep me motivated to go forward. So I'm gonna start doing that. I just basically have the scratch track down that has the structure of the song, and it's about it. But what I really wanted to show you this week is I got a guitar because I needed the Trinity. I wanted the Tele Strat Les Paul, and then I have my main guitar, which is a Tele as well, but it's the everything Tele. And I got the Les Paul, and I got a really good deal. It's an Epiphone Les Paul, and let me show it to you right now. So there she is. Not too fond of Cherry Burst or whatever this is called, but I just need a Les Paul. Now, the story about this is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Originally, I'm like, I need a Les Paul or something Les Paul-like to fill out my Trinity. And I normally troll through the Guitar Center used section online, and I came across this for $3.99. Now, at first I'm like, okay, it might be like a Chinese one that's a few years old, but it's got Seymour Duncan pickups. And I was like, I'm like, well, worst case scenario, I don't have to worry about the pickups. So I go over to the Pasadena Guitar Center where this is at, and I'm like, okay, I'll try it out, see how the neck is. If the neck isn't totally trashed, it'd be worth it. So I go over, and I'm like, okay, as a backup option, there's a green Epiphone 335. And I know it's not a Les Paul, but at least it's got humbuckers, and it'll fill that cavity in my heart for a hollow body. But anyhow, I go over, and the first thing I notice is the neck on this thing is just amazing. And the frets are, I don't know if it was just never played or refretted or whatever, or just taken care of, but these frets are amazing. And I think this is they replaced the nut with a bone nut. I think this might be bone. But anyhow, I'm like, okay, this thing plays well. I hooked it up to an amp. Everything worked fine. They even replaced the jack here. Yeah, they even did a little mod on the bridge where you bend the wire down. Now, I might replace that. I don't know. I'm going to play it for a little bit. I'm going to take it to practice tomorrow night and see how it plays. I look up the serial number on the back, and it's from 2002, and it's Korean. So when I thought I was getting like a Chinese one that's a few years old, I'm actually getting one it's actually, you know, a lot older. And that explains maybe why it's a lot nicer than I thought it would be. The woods, you know, it's not going to be, I don't know if the new Chinese ones use NATO, but this is mahogany. Got the maple cap, and instead of a laurel fretboard, it's got a rosewood fretboard. And I'm not a wood snob or anything. I'm not one of those tone wood guys, but it's nice to have the right parts for the right thing. Now, I did the volt ohm on the output here, and I believe it's a JB Jazz set because it equals out, and Nando has a ton of guitars with JBs, and this sounds exactly like a JB, and this is exactly, they're both matching ohm for ohm, where this would be a JB Jazz. And this, I played little 50, or not little 59s, but I played 59s before, and I remember them being okay. This thing sounds amazing, so I'm assuming it's the Jazz because I've never played a Jazz, Seymour Duncan Jazz pickup before. I think this is my, where I before said I do not like neck humbuckers, this thing I like. It's I'm going to probably use it for some clean parts. That tells you something. But yeah, I instantly fell in love with this guitar. And I'm like, uh-oh, you know. I'm not a fan of the color. You know, I'm not really a cherry burst type guy. And the flame in it, I'm not really a flame guy either, but the flame's light. So, you know, I was playing and man, you know, I used to have an Epiphone Les Paul way back in the day, a gold top, which someday my dream is to have a Gibson 50s with a big chunky neck, gold top with the PAFs, you know, the 50s reissue or whatever it is. But this thing is just, it felt like, oh man, this is very familiar. I haven't played my Les Paul that a bandmate who passed away a few years ago had. Yeah, I haven't played in years, but this just felt so like, wow, good. But I had to go grab my Tele, my American Standard, and I was like, okay, let's check this out. And thankfully, the Tele still reigns supreme when it comes to playability. I mean, this is damn close. These tuners aren't bad, but they're not, like, they're weird to me turning them compared to the nice tuners on my American Standard Tele. And the weird thing when I got it was, this thing was like, the neck was set up straight as a bird, which isn't good. You want like a 10th hour relief at least. And then also, it's supposed to be 3 64ths, and then on the bass side, it's supposed to be 5 64ths. And it was 3 64ths on both sides. So this thing was straight and slammed, and it buzzed, but it didn't buzz that bad. So that was one thing where I'm like going like, huh, and then when I set it up, it just like perfect. So yeah, I totally love this guitar. Like, I'm gonna basically, right before when I record, I'm gonna change the strings. They got 11s on them already. And what my thing was is the nut was binding. And I think what they did was they had the nut cut for 10s, and then they put in 11s because they were all kind of binding. And then the D string was like, it was really like, you couldn't even, it was like when you pulled it out, it popped out like a button. It was so tight. So I basically made the slots bigger, and it fixed that, and it just needed a little TLC, and it's a killer guitar. You know, I'm going to put some new strings on it when it's time to record. I'm just going to give this bridge some time. Right now it seems fine. And if it doesn't give me any problems, then I'm going to throw some power slinkies on there and start tracking. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm very happy with my new guitar. I have the Trinity, and maybe someday I'll expand on that. I have a whole plan for that. Maybe I'll talk about that next week. Here you go. See you next week, and have a good one.